Well, here we are, episode 2 of Vulnerable,
Self-doubt.
self-doubt. God, I was so excited about this all week long. Not just for because I explained in chat that there's a little bit of a case study here. We're not going to get to it immediately, but just super excited to walk through that one.
Super case study. This is how this whole topic came about.
Oh my
This
God,
whole topic came about
it's
that.
perfect.
But yeah, welcome everybody. Of course, this is Vulnerable. It's co-stream with myself, Drop the Hammer, and that guy over there.
This guy over here.
He's over on Twitch. Listen, we're going to be discussing some topics, most of which are challenging, all of which are challenging. But the key point to remember is that they're very valuable and they're vital to have out in the open. All right. It's valuable and vital, crucial, important, all of those words to have in the open. You don't need to have these privately in a sense within yourself because use doesn't get you anywhere. You need to have these conversations openly because then it reduces the taboo-ness of them. It makes them much less taboo, and then it opens up conversation. It shows that it's not just you. There's many more people who deal with these things, and we can deal with these things better out in the open. We can deal with these things better together. So there we are. There's Vulnerable.
Perfect. You summed it up perfectly. 100%. All right, so self-doubt. All right, so okay, I'll just put it out there. So last conversation, I kind of kicked us off.
Mm-hmm.
I figured since I don't care, I don't have that big an ego. I don't care who hosts and who doesn't. So if you want to guide this one, by all means, my friend, take the wheel.
I'll take the wheel. So self-doubt. Right. So, and whenever you have a conversation like this, you need to define your terms. That's always the first thing. So we need to define self-doubt. So self-doubt to me, and I thought long and hard about how I wanted to do, this fancy definition with all of these words and all this stuff like this that was really nicely crafted. I was like, you know what? I am purposely not going to write anything down about this because I want to do it on the fly. I want to do it on the fly. So self-doubt, it's for me, it is the lack of the use of the confidence that you have within yourself to do something, to accomplish something, to be something, and I think it's very important that it's the lack of the use of it. It's not that you don't have it or you don't possess it, but just the lack of using the confidence that you have within yourself to do, to be. Yeah, just the lack of it. That's where I want to go. The lack of the lack of use, or I can't say the inability, just the not using of the confidence that is had, that is possessed to go forth to a goal. So that's what I have, sir. Self-doubt. Define it, please.
Oh, okay. Well, sorry. Do I have 1 minute to do it? Self-doubt. For me, self-doubt is you're at a crossroads. You know with all confidence, more than likely the right decision, because it's what brought you to that road in the first place, that sort of fork. Self-doubt is the gravity that pulls you back into making no decision at all. That's the best way in this moment I can encapsulate it, because self-doubt puts you in this position where you're just stuck without acting in so many different areas of life. So self-doubt for me is like you're stuck in the mud. You're spinning your wheels. You're just not moving anywhere. Your ass is sliding all over the place. For anybody who used to drive a rear-wheel drive vehicle, you're not moving. That's what self-doubt is to me. So
interesting. So I guess I'm trying to figure out a nice way to pose this question. So because it's not a matter of when did you realize you had self-doubt. We all have. We knew that. When did you? I think the best thing is, when did you realize this was a major issue? When did we know if there's a situation where it was like, what, self-doubt, bam, problem?
Ooh, that's weighty. I don't know if I have a defining moment. I think for me, it became something I was acutely aware of in my 20s, when I realized that like any decision that I was going to make I either vacillated on it, which I know, again, see, here's the thing too. I want to frame this in the sense that, like, yes, we all have issues, making sure, we make the right decision, we do our research, we do analysis, etc. But as Hammer kind of alluded to, there is that portion of decision making, and then there is the crippling inability to make the decision, or to make the attempt to do the thing. And not even that, even after you've made a decision, even if it seems to be a good one, did I do it? Did I do the right thing? What am I going to think in a week, month, a year from now? So for me, again, self-doubt really came into play when I realized how badly I talk about myself to myself, to the point where it's crippling. Like the crap that I would say. I literally, one day, I remember this part vividly. This was about 10 years ago. I don't know what the issue was. I just remember the fact that I was saying in my head, you this, that, and the other, you son of a so-and-so. And I'm like, what are you doing? What does this ever, where does this part of the conversation ever get you? Like, so if we take all the pieces that are sitting in my head right now, we throw them on the table. Tell me where the piece that you call yourself a no good for nothing piece of garbage ever fit into a forward movement, a either decision or something positive. But it was so ingrained in my psyche because I just did it my whole life. And and like, as we all go through life, we're all, we all face confrontation, whether it's bullying or people in our life that just suck for some reason. So, like, you hear the words of other people kind of pushing that forward. So for me, like, a lot of it was my older brother. Like, a lot of that came from that, like, my interactions with him. And not just him, but other people. But I mean, because he was my older brother, it was always like, that was a lot of the source for me. And it always brought me to this place where I never knew what to do. I never thought I was doing the right thing. I always thought I was not good enough, too stupid, not able to do whatever. I mean, I doubted myself probably since grade school, but it didn't become apparent to me until I was in my 20s, when I then had to make a concerted effort, and even to this day, to not constantly be held back by self-doubt. I don't know if I answered your question kind of in a roundabout way, but I think I did.
Yeah, you did. You did, because
So what about for you, though?
So mine is somewhat similar, but I think I do have somewhat of I almost said maybe a moment, but kind of a common event, a common theme. So I've always been somewhat of an outcast. That's kind of been my thing. I've never really fit with the crowd. And not fitting with the crowd is what made me think something was wrong with me. Why can't I be like everybody else? Why am I the one that people don't want to be around? Why do I make people uncomfortable? And so I couldn't be like everybody else, which since I was the one that was different, something's wrong with me. I'm the one messed up because everybody else is good over here, but it's me over here by myself. So it's got to be something. Everything is right with them, but everything's wrong with me. And so then it became this second guessing of everything about myself. Everything about myself. One thing that was, and I guess from here I'll go ahead and start into the conversation. One thing that was major for me, you talk about your older brother. I have an older brother who is 10 years older than me. I love the man to death now. But now, because the thing is, you got to think, he's 10 years older than me. So for 10 years, he was the only child. And so when here comes bouncing baby Russell, and he told my mom in the way he talked, "Mommy, I don't like him." I've heard this story from my mom, and he's told me that he didn't like me. And so I got mistreated. But I never reciprocated that. And so my thing was, what's wrong with me that he treats me so poorly and I don't do that to him. I will say, one time I got fed up and I did hit him with I did hit him with a rotary phone. That was a real thing.
A rotary phone.
Yeah,
This is the
the rotary phone.
1970s.
Yes, with the miss a number,
Yeah.
start over.
Oh my god. Yeah.
I ended up in the hospital because of that. Long story. Um,
It's horrible.
because I hit him, and I'll get back. I hit him and ran up the steps, and he grabbed my
Oh, you
foot.
ended up in the. Oh my
I
god.
ended up in the hospital. I was running up the steps, and he grabbed my foot, and I hit my chin on the top step. It was built up. It was thick. It was awful. It had a big old gap, and just one of the many times I got stitches, or one of the 3 times I got stitches. We won't go into that.
Another day.
Yeah, whatever. But but that was the thing. I'm like, and even it got to a point where my family expected me to be him. They expected me to be like him. He went to Phoenix to go to school, go to some sort of school. And in his absence, I was supposed to be him. So whenever that generation of the family got together, it was always, well, he would do so and so. Well, he would do this. Well, he would do that. And I'm like, that's awesome. But I'm me. So why is it that everything that we talk about is him? Why can't we say, well, sure, he do that, but you can do this? Why couldn't it be that? And so for a long time, years, you're looking at middle school through college, I went through thinking something is wrong with me. Something is not right with me. And it prevented me from doing things that I knew I could do because something's wrong with me. I didn't pursue a lot of things that I could have because I doubted who I was. I doubted the fact that I was capable, that I could do this. And even though it didn't directly correlate with what I was doing, the fact that something was wrong with me was an indication to me that I probably couldn't do what I was pursuing. So then I shouldn't do it. There was no sense in wasting my time because I couldn't do it because there's something wrong with me. And that was a lot of what bred my self-doubt. Because self-doubt for me it's always, to your, like you said, it's always been a thing. And at that point, I didn't realize that's what it was at that time. But looking back, which that's always 2020, I'm like, that's what that was. That's what that was. And then you tend to see situations and things through the lens of your experience. So
Yeah.
then I would be up with my cousin, one of my cousins, and even though he lived there and I would come up for Christmas or come up for summer to be with my dad, and that's another thing that I got to deal with. That we'll get into that later. Be with my dad. I'm looking at all the here we go. I'm looking at all the gifts under the tree. And of course, mind you, they know that I'm coming. They know that I'm coming. And I'm coming to spend Christmas with them. We go in the giant tree. I'm like, they have to take ceiling tiles out of the ceiling to get the tree in the house. So just going up through the grid ceiling. The tree is sitting on the gifts. It's that many gifts. So Christmas Day comes, there's not a single one for me. And then it is people scrambling. I see them scrambling because they hadn't thought about me until it got to the point where I'm there. I'm excited for my cousin, and I hope he's not here. I'm excited for my cousin. I want him to feel bad. I'm excited for my cousin. I'm excited. You got this, you got that, you got this. Yeah. You got all this stuff, all these things that I know you want, all the things that I would want. And I get, oh, hey, we got you this. It's unwrapped. It's just handed. It's something that you had left over.
An afterthought.
Right. You have left over. And that's how I feel. I'm like, so again, what's up with me that nobody thought about me, even knowing that I was coming? Because I had to plan these things. Parents coordinated. I've called, everybody knows. Why is it that I'm the one jacked up? Something's got to be messed up with me that people would forget about me. Like, Even to the point that I was not that I came on Christmas Day. I was there a week or two in advance, and even still, I was forgotten. I was overlooked, and so things like that really, really mess with my mind. Really mess with the fact that I'm not important. And here we go to that. I'm not important. I really don't matter to these people, to my family. I don't say these people to my family. I really don't matter, and I don't. And then from there, my mind starts working. You don't matter because
Mm.
you're not important because they didn't say that. They said none of that. It was an oversight. They just weren't thinking about it. But me feeling how I feel now, I'm seeing this through the lens of this experience. I'm adding all of that stuff to it. So that I think all of that as a child just kind of hung out inside of me, leading to April 3rd of 2022, having this conversation.
That's what brings us here. And that's the thing too, because you kind of brought it up with the word. So you completed the formula for them, right? Like that's a lot of that was pointed out to me a while back. I'm not what I am. I am whatever I think that you think that I am.
Mm-hmm.
When I heard that for the first time, it was hard to kind of compute, and then it made all the sense in the world because I'm not the man that I am. I'm not the sum of all my parts. Everything I've ever done, been told, is sums up my character 100%. So if somebody says I'm stupid through and through. If somebody thinks I'm a failure through and through. And I believe it. I own it. Or I had. Not quite as bad anymore, but it does still, echoes of that still remain, even again to this day. So again, we always finish the formula for somebody. And here's the thing, like the stuff that we remember other people doing, 99 times out of 100, they don't remember what they said. They don't remember something happening that way. And it's like, at what point do we give ourselves a break enough to say, what are you doing? What are you doing to yourself? And we all do it though. Like that's the thing. Like that's what brings us all to this place. Is like one of the things I was thinking about today when I was kind of trying to come up with some ideas of things to talk about was I'm not good enough. I'm not fast enough. I'm not smart enough. I'm not good looking enough. I'm not this. I'm not that. And I never will be. And that is the sum of who I am as a man. And why bother doing anything? Why bother doing this thing that we're doing right now? There are a million people out there who are better at this, who are smarter, who have better equipment, who know what they're doing, who have a tried and true method. Why are we bothering? This is stupid. No one cares. And for me, that I turn that, and don't misunderstand me. I still wrestle with these very sort of primal things of I'm the worst person in the world. But that gives me some freedom. I don't know if it does for you. Because I've adopted the I no longer fucking care. Because I'm tired. And a lot of like what I said last week and what I'm saying this week, it's exhausting. No one cares. Fine. If you want to make fun of me, cool. What that's great. I'll feel shitty for a minute. You wanna assume the worst things about me or what I'm doing? Okay, cool. I'm gonna try anyway. Because I'm tired of not trying. I'm tired of not doing. I'm tired of sitting at that place where I described in the beginning where you're just stuck in the middle of this fork in the road where either you continue down the path that you're on or you try something different. And that is where I'm trying to be actively today and have been for a long time. So, I mean, that really wasn't a question. It's more of a statement.
And I guess that's somewhat of a resolution. I think I'll get to my resolution towards the end. Some of the things that I implemented within myself that kind of pushed me past all of that. I see. I can mark that one off and mark that one off too. I'm checking off the list.
Wow, you really got a whole list there, huh?
I'm checking off the list. But it leads to a deeper or a different conversation because, like you said, we're finishing the sentence about ourselves.
Always.
When do we then let those who are actually writing the sentence finish it? Because us being our biggest critics,
Hmm.
it usually, I can't say never, typically we go to the worst, the absolute worst end of it. When that might not be the end of their sentence. That, and granted, it could be, and that would be a different kind of thing. But when we I told somebody, let me back up. I told somebody in conversation, I said, whenever I'm trying to speak with you, you interrupt me. And you respond to the portion of the sentence that you've heard.
Hmm.
And I said, well, the problem with that is you don't know what I'm saying. And so you're responding to what I'm saying, but a lot of times your context is incorrect, making your response way in left field because you don't know the end of the sentence.
Or even
If
if there
you
is one.
Well, there may not be one, but in this case, if I'm talking with a thought, I have an end to my sentence. It's not just like, well, you know what? I really think, and that's just it.
Dot, dot, dot.
I don't know. Yeah, but
Yeah.
if we're having a conversation and I'm giving you I have a resolution to this sentence, I have an ending, but you never hear it, you respond accordingly to what you've heard because you think you know what's going to be said. Um, you think you know what is going to be said, and you respond. But I've been in a situation where I'm like, and not to be rude, like, are you done? You good? Cool. Now here's what I was going to say. I'll say it, and then there's this long pause. And I'm like, see, you went through all this feeling, through all of this stuff. And that's not even what I was saying. You didn't give me a chance. The one who knows the end of the sentence. You didn't give me a chance to tell you what it was before you jumped the gun. We do that a lot of times. We will jump the gun and, again, to your point, finish those sentences, finish those statements, and then feel behind the sentence that we finished.
Exactly. That response of, not only did I finish the sentence for you, but I'm going to respond to how many times you're in the shower and you're just doing your thing. I'm like, fuck. I mean, not every time, but enough times where you have a whole conversation in your head, whether it's something stupid you said a month or 6 years or 20 years ago, or something that should be happening, and you just go through this whole thing and you're like, got him. Got what? You just imagine this entire thing. What are you doing? And I get that, like, oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, I get that it's a process that we all do, and when you're doing a mundane task, your thoughts tend to just go everywhere. But still, it's like, what are you doing? You don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Because then you're already, because I'm gonna go when I see them. This is what I'm gonna say,
Exactly.
and they're gonna say this, and I'm gonna, and bam, woo! I won.
Get wrecked, nerd.
And then you get there, and you're like,
oh, I was wrong. Oh shit, I'm sorry.
Completely wrong, like complete opposite, and you're just like,
Do you want to get to it? I feel like we should get to it.
We were like, yeah, we'll get to it. I was like,
I think we should,
because we're here now. I had no intention. I had no intention of being here. We're here.
Perfect.
I'm like, you're like, no. So perfect. So case study, right?
All right. No, everybody, if you weren't paying attention before, pay attention now, because this is, and I'm telling you right now, I laughed at this man's pain for 30 seconds because it was one of the funniest things I have ever experienced in my life, because once he gets to the punchline, you will feel what I feel. So please paint a very lovely picture of how awful this was leading up to this moment.
Oh, first off, just let me make this statement. I hate it here. All right. So everybody, well, most people know let's call me back. On Twitch, there's a fairly large group called the Everbright Global Gaming. All about positivity, all the stuff that we're doing now. All of this, right? Just this. I won't go into all of that. Take time to look it up. Do that. And so they were opening applications, right? And I'm like, okay, cool. And, somebody had recommended that I should. Somebody else recommended. I won't call these people names. I see them. One is over there, and another one is chatting with us. And I'm like, okay, cool. Because one person they said that you should, but what they didn't say is that you better. That's what they better. That's what really kind of happened. I'm so like, okay, whatever. Cool. Applications come open. I do it. Okay. I'm like, my mind. There's no way that this won't happen for me. There's no way. So, applications go, they close, and then it's announcement time. And so they're announcing, the new members on Twitter. They announce them 3 at a time per day. So we're going along, cool. And some of my community remember this because I'll get to the part that some of you all were experiencing. It's going on. I'm like, we're going on pretty far, and what I'm not seeing is my name. So I'm like, okay, well, it's cool.
Can I just say
deal.
something really quick? Just FYI, we do have permission to tell this story. Just letting you guys know now.
Yep, we did get with creator of said group, and he approved it. Yeah. So here we go. We are time is going on, and I'm like, it's a lot of people being announced. At some point, they're going to run out of people. Because, of course, everybody who applies can't get in. I'm like, okay. And so it hits me. You're not going to make it in. You're not going to make it in. I'm like, okay. That's okay. That's fine. No big deal. That's fine. Yeah, right, dude. You say, okay, you're not. And so now it's hitting me. It's hitting me. You're not getting in. Why? Because something's wrong with you. Something is wrong with you. You're not good enough to make it in. You're not good enough to be a part of this group. And so, some of y'all remember, at least over here over here at this community on this side, that I was doing a stream, and I said one of my biggest things about this whole streaming thing with the community is that it's all about having fun. I'm out here having fun. And I was streaming, we playing Invictus, and I said out loud, hey guys, I'm not having fun. I'm not having fun. And so we're going to end the stream here. And I said, there's something, something's bothering me, but I'll be okay. But I'm not having fun. So I'm not going to put that forward. I'm not giving you all of me. This is what it was. The fact that I was not at that point, didn't feel like I was going to be inducted or accepted into the group was bothering me. Because I formulated this narrative that because I wasn't good enough. And then so they're finished. They announced everybody, and of course my name didn't come out. And I was like, okay. It bothered me. I'm like, but it's okay. It's okay. I'll be fine. At some point, I told my mods about it. Because I was like, I mean, it did a number on me. I was like, I was ready to give up everything in a sense. We were in the supporter push and everything. I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. And even through that, I still crafted this narrative so it didn't sound as bad as it was. I told them that it wasn't that I was going to quit the supporter push. I was just going to abandon it because I didn't want to select a quitter. So we just abandoned it. That's not really quitting. That's just kind of leaving it over there and just leave it. It's quitting. Okay, let's just be straight with it. It was legit going to quit because I wasn't going to try again. I wasn't coming back to it. It wasn't like I was going to leave and I was done. I had considered. I didn't say this. I considered closing up shop altogether. DTH done. But I didn't. And one of my mods, he gave me a swift kick in the everything, to make me realize what I was going to do. And so I talked to Sid about it. He said, you should reach out to, the creator. And I was like, no, no, I'm good. And I was like, I'm like, I don't want no special treatment. I don't want anything. Just no. And I think a key point for me was I'm not in a place where I think I can receive what's going to be said, because it's going to further exacerbate the fact that I'm not good enough. It's going to further show me how not good enough I am. So I'm good. I appreciate it. And so with more gentle but not gentle nudging, I did it. I said, fine, I'll do it. So I reached out and I sent a message, and then we played the waiting game. The one where you're waiting for information that you don't want, but you know is coming. So every Discord notification I was afraid of. Hey, so-and-so's going live. Okay, good. That's not so-and-so. Y'all know it shows up in the little corner of your on your phone, and you're like, I'm like, okay, here we go. I leave my computer on sometimes, and I can hear the Discord notifications in my bedroom, which is across the house. And I'm like, seriously? Well, where's my phone? Let me check. Okay, I don't have any DMs. Finally, the DM comes through. Hey, how are you? Can we get to can we get to this?
Wait. I need to paint a picture here to go along with this. We were talking on Discord while you were getting this message finally.
Yes, I'm having two conversations. I'm talking to Sid, and
like voice chat.
Yes, and the conversation and the conversation is happening via chat. So I'm like, okay. I said, because it said, hey, you heard anything? I said, no, not yet. And I was like, I'm okay with that. And there it is. I said, wait. Hold on. And said he didn't say it. This is not his exact words, but he said, go ahead and look, because we were actually wrapping up the call. And we came through, we continued. He said, well, go ahead and look at it, because it very possibly could be something that you, it could not be what it is that you have put together, this narrative that you've made. It very well may be something different, something much different than what you've settled on. So go ahead and look at it. Basically saying, I'll wait to hear.
Now, mind you, this is 2 weeks ago. This made me 10 minutes late to stream, or 15 minutes late to stream, because I needed to hear the resolution to this.
Because I said to him, shouldn't you be doing something?
Mm-hmm.
He very, very flatly and very calmly said, keep talking. And I paused, because I thought that was my out. I don't know why I thought that. I should have known, but I thought it was my out. But I'm like, yeah, shouldn't you be streaming? Shouldn't you be streaming? He says, keep talking. As he says that, I get the notification that he's going to be 10 to 15 minutes late, because he just typed that in his Discord to everybody. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, okay, I'm stuck. Got it. I read it. I read the message, and I'm disappointed I didn't make it in. I would like to know your feedback, to kind of help me be better in what I'm doing. Because, of course, I've already determined that something is wrong with me. I get a response, and there's a long pause. And I said, I got my answer. He says, okay.
And
I said, he said to me that the reason I didn't make it in, I need a drum roll, very dramatic. The reason I didn't make it in was because I multi-streamed to Facebook and Twitch at the same time. And technically, you're not supposed to do that. It's the only reason why.
I giggled at this man for 30 seconds to a minute straight. I laughed at 2 weeks of pain in this man's life because it was everything he created in his head. This whole nightmare scenario. I'm not good enough. I'm terrible. Everything's horrible. Why do I do anything? And
It had nothing to do with me at all. It had absolutely nothing to do with the content that I put out, had nothing to do with the interactions that I have. It was simply because I was streaming to 2 platforms at the same time. That was the whole thing. So to Sid's point, I made this whole scenario, this whole situation that nobody told me. But in my mind, this is the only reason that this could be. There is absolutely, positively, as I heard somebody say, totally no other way that this could have resulted except for the fact of that I'm not good enough. And that not being good enough, here it comes, that not being good enough made me second guess everything that I did. Everything that I did, every decision that I've made in all of my life, that there made me second guess everything. Even some decisions that I know were the best decisions of my life, it made me second guess them because I'm not good enough.
because it summed you up. Period.
Literally, my whole life was summed up in the fact of I'm not good enough.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the thing that defines who I am. This is as much as people say, hey, you're so positive, hey, you're so this, hey, you're so that, hey, this and that. If I'm all of that, why couldn't I have made it in here? Why? Because you're not good enough. All of your efforts in the grand scope of things are minuscule. They don't matter. And then, sure, well, you can apply the next time. No. Why would I do that? Because now that means I'm second rate. Now that means you weren't good enough. You weren't good enough for the first application. So all of those people are so much better, than you. All these people. So it's just now that you're better than this second group of people. You're better than the people who did make it, but you missed this group. That's what it was. And that I felt defined me, and it hit me to my core. It made me second guess the promotion I got on my job. It made me second guess the promotion that I got in the National Guard. It made me second guess my role as a parent to my son. It made me second guess all of my relationships. It put me in a place where I felt like nobody needed me to do for at all. That I wasn't worth anything to anybody because I'm just not good enough. There's way more people. There's way more things you could opt to use, to opt to pick, to view, to whatever, because I'm not good enough. And it was a weight off my shoulders to a degree. Because and Sid had to pull me out of it. He really did, because then it was, I'm still looking through the eyes of this experience. Then it was, well, now you're an idiot. Well, why? Because you already knew that you can't stream to Facebook and Twitter at the same time. You knew that. So what an idiot. What idiot does that? Who in their right mind do you know better than that? So now you're the worst person in the world because you did something that you know you shouldn't have done. And now because of that, something that you really want, you don't get that experience. All of that really, it did a number on me. I'm surprised
And
I
as
got
a
through that without this.
It's okay. You painted a wonderful picture, and to your point, I was not giving you the satisfaction of continuing down that rabbit hole of I am garbage, because everything that you thought wasn't there, you didn't have to then replace it with something else shitty. It just accept it for what it is. And so here, let's navigate through, because we love difficult conversations. There are
Of course
people
we
in
do.
my chat who did not get into the group this time around, and I know how difficult that is because it's happened to me in other spaces. And again, the whole point of this part of the conversation is to not make assumptions, because you're probably wrong. You're probably wrong. There's a high likelihood that you are wrong in whatever it is you're assuming, especially when it comes from a place of self-doubt. Gotta be honest. It just, because it hurts when you're not accepted into something that you love, or whatever it is. It hurts. It's painful. I mean, you painted a really genuine picture, because it wasn't the thing. It summed you up as a human being in every aspect. You're not a guy who's a supervisor. You're not a man who serves his country. You're not a father to a son. You're garbage. You don't belong. And it okay. So I'll tell my somewhat similar story, and tell you how pathological this self-doubt crap can really take you down. So when I was really heavily into my active addiction, I didn't work for about 2.5 years. When I finally was able to start somewhat getting back to work, I applied for a job, and about with the company that I had been with, and after like 3 interviews, they offered me the job. I was super excited, and I had to turn it down because I couldn't pass a drug test. So that killed me. So finally, after a few months, some rehab and this, I finally got regular work again. And I worked for a few years at this other company, and then for like a full year straight. So from 2012 to like 2015, I worked at this one company, and then for like that entire last year, I kept reapplying at the company that I'm at now, because I really wanted to get back to the company, not the role I was in before, but the company. Finally, after interview that didn't go anywhere, after application that told me to go to hell, I was finally given an opportunity. So I came to this place, and they said, "What are your goals? What do you want to do?" I said, "I'd like to get into a leadership role." They said, "Okay, well, the track here is from a legacy line of business. So you're a senior analyst, and then 4 steps higher is the director role. That's it. There's nothing in between. So rarely, if ever, in all the years this position has existed, has anybody ever made the leap from your role to field director, which was the role that I was trying to get. I worked my ass off for 2 straight years to learn the job, to become good at it, effective at it, and essentially take on all of my boss's responsibilities, because I wanted his goddamn job. Period. End of story. Get out. You're kicked out. I want your job. And there weren't that many roles that existed. Like, it was regionally bound. So like if somebody was there, that was it. It wasn't like they were going to open up another one. When you, especially with director roles, because of the nature of what they do, they often will move things around rather than filling up old roles. The stars aligned. The moon was in the right position above the earth. A field director role opened up. I was ready to apply for it. I had a 5 on my previous year, on the year I just had, a 5 on my review. Got a huge rate. I mean, I was in perfect position, and I talked to the national director, and I was ready to apply. And then all of a sudden, within a month, everything imploded. They completely changed the model of the line of business I was in, where they were moving much of the operational stuff to our Philippine counterparts. And they weren't getting rid of jobs. What they weren't doing was they weren't backfilling field director roles. But it wasn't good enough for me because to me, I still should have gotten that role. It still hurt me, even though it had nothing to do with me, nothing to do with my abilities, nothing to do with the hard work I had. I spent better part of a year just depressed because I couldn't make that leap from the role that I was in to director role. And it took me a long time to shake that off because I had it in my head that no, it couldn't possibly be because they were changing how things worked. No, it was because you don't deserve this. You're not good enough. They couldn't make it work for you. So it's self-doubt to that degree where literally you're presented with information. Now his was after, mine was before, but it's still the same. It still works in the same vein that you just have, again, it's the summation of who you are as a person, not just shit didn't work out. So that's where I wanted to end up with that conversation, because I wanted to add that piece, because it doesn't always have to be before leading up to it. It can be afterwards too.
Yeah.
You can have the information and still experience all of it.
And again, it comes a lot of times it comes through your experiences. Another one and this one I think is going to hit me. Another one that I experienced as a child was from my mother. Now, most of you know that she's passed away. She passed away in 2013, and she had some really good intentions. Her intentions were good. What she was doing came from a good place, but well, she knew before she passed the effect that it had, because we had a conversation about it, but she didn't know at the time the effect that it had on me. She wanted me to do well in school, because not to get into anything like this, just because of the way I look and who I am, I had somewhat of strikes against me from society. It's unfortunate. I'm an African American male. It sets me behind the 8 ball, as that's just the world we live in. So her thing was, you have to work extra hard because of that. You have to be so much better. Listen to what she's saying. You have to be so much better because of that. And so she would push me, which I appreciate to this day. But the way she pushed me almost took me out, because any grade, unless it was perfect, that I brought home was not good enough. Let me make a 97 on my test. I make a 97, and she tells me, most people will be excited. It's ecstatic. Congratulations. Got a 97. Her thing was, oh, you got a 97? What happened to the other 3 points? And here I am, excited that I got the highest grade in the class. Here I am excited that I shouldn't do this because it's going to make you see everything. I need to turn this light on. Here I am excited that I got a 97. And you say to me, where are the other 3 points? What happened to them? Talk about being crushed. Talk about literally your whole world just crumbling in front of you because it's not good enough. And it actually hurt. It came from a good place. It was designed to push me, but it was so destructive to everything that I was. There was a couple of times, because where we lived, there was a sharp curve, and here's where we're taking a bit of a dark turn. Giving you a heads up. There's that. We're taking a bit of a dark turn here. So if we need to take a step away, then do that. We had a blind curve near my house. And so I got to a point where I was like, okay, here's what I'm getting ready to go do. I am getting ready to go stand in the middle of the street at this curve at night and let a car run me over. That's where I was. That because I'm so not good enough, point in being here. There is no sense in me being here if I can't meet these standards that I have to live with 24/7. I have to live with this because my father and I didn't have a good relationship. And so he lived in Philadelphia, where my mother and I lived in North Carolina. And that's where I was going for the summers. And Christmas was to be with him. And he wouldn't acknowledge he wouldn't acknowledge the fact that I was there. Your only son that you haven't seen in a year has come to visit. And there were times I would never hear from him. I would call him, we'd go by his house, and he just would not for whatever reason. And so between trying to figure out why my dad doesn't want me and why my mom thinks I'm not good enough, I felt like I couldn't take it. And so I came close to getting hit by a car. I was standing in the middle of the street. Had on dark clothes. I had enough sense to think this. I had on dark clothes, and a car came, and I stood there. I closed my eyes and hope for the worst. The car swerved. Talking about this rabbit hole, you're not even good enough for somebody to run you over with their car. You are such a piece of junk. You are such garbage. You're not even worth somebody hitting you with their car. I said, okay, I'll fix that. I'll show you how good I am. I'll show you that I'm good enough to die. I laid down in the street. I wanted to make sure that nobody could see me so that when the next car came, that they would run me over like a speed bump. 0 cars came that night. That was the only car. This is busy street. There are always cars coming. Always cars coming. And it was that night that no more cars came. And of course, it did the same thing. Like out of all nights, the night that I'm ready, the time that I'm ready to give it up, the time that I'm ready for all of it to be over, I can't even get out of here. So then I have to go back and suffer all of this stuff all over again because I can't even get out of here through death. I have to go back and then explain why I'm out in the middle of the street, as we say, trying to unalive. I'm out in the middle of the street trying to get out of here to someone who doesn't actually understand what it is that they're doing because their intentions are good. Their heart's in the right place. Their heart's in the right place, but they don't know the damage that is being done in their trying to be productive. And so from there, that's where a lot of this started from. I guess if there's a defining moment, that would be it. To know that, to know the fact that, sure, she said to me, this is why I'm doing this, but that's not what it feels like. It feels like you think I'm the worst person in the world. It makes me feel like you don't want me. It makes me feel like that you just tolerate the fact that I'm here because I'm your child. That's what it feels like. That's the narrative that I constructed. And from there, I grew up with that. I grew up with knowing the fact that as an African American male, you're already not good enough. And then those who should be in your corner are constantly pulling you down. Talk about self-doubt. Talking about having a lack of confidence, a lack of self-esteem. You want to talk about that? That'll do it to you. If nothing else will do it, that'll do it to you. But I'm not going to stay here, right? There had to be, and because I'm tired of crying. There had to be some resolution to that, right? There had to be a resolution. And it wasn't until I got to college. I got to college. And even though this example is unrelated to that, it sparked something in me. I didn't drink. I still don't drink. Well, because I started drinking when I was 12 and I stopped when I was 18. Because I was doing it to fit in. I had a tolerance that was out of this world. I was drinking grown men under tables. Um, good one because my metabolism was ridiculously high and fast. So I remember one time I went to an event that my family was having, and I had a bottle of Hawaiian punch about this big. It was green when I started. After mixing everything that I could find in it, it was black. And as it would empty, I would refill. So the amount of Hawaiian punch at the end was minimal, if any. But then I was good. Everybody else had hangovers the next day. I was like, yo, what we doing next? But that was only because I was trying to fit in. And so at 18, I'm like, you know what? I'm done. I'm doing this because of this reason. So I stopped. So I go to college and somebody says to me, before we graduate, I will get you to drink. That sparked someone. I said, you know what? Try me. To this day, that was 2005. To this day, still haven't. Still haven't. Because I made a determination that I am in control. No matter what you say, no matter what you do, I'm in control. And that's when I got to and I've said this before, that's when I got to the point where I was like, you know what? Wait a minute. Not in a cocky, arrogant way, but I'm the best person that I know. There is nobody better than me. And so what you say is okay. But I know that I'm the greatest that I can be. Sure, I've got my flaws, I've got my issues, but I'm awesome. And if you don't like it, as I like to say, I want you to find the biggest rock you can. Find the most ginormous boulder. But when you find it, make sure you have the least of shoes and kick it. Kick it as hard as you can, as many times as you can. That's where I am. That's where I am. And so that's has been my resolution. Does it always work? Obviously not, right? Because we're here. And we just talked about that. But that it is somewhat is that mindset that makes me realize, but you are good. But you are all those things that you said that you weren't. And maybe you're not, but maybe you're working towards that. It doesn't mean that you're such a terrible person. And so that's kind of how I get through this self-doubt, which then begs the question, kind sir, in your moments of self-doubt, what pulls you out? What gets you out of that space of piece of garbage? What makes you realize that it's just you working into refined gold? What does that? What is that?
First of all, thank you for sharing that. To answer your question, I kind of touched on it earlier. I reached a point in my life where I told all of my demons, every last one of them, I am tired of the shit you have to say.
I'm losing you.
Oh, hello? What was the last thing you heard me say?
You told your demons.
Oh, I am tired of hearing the shit you have to say. I am simply no longer interested. Almost actively. Because as I said earlier, like I got to a place where I got tired of the same conversations over and over. The same shit that, like, again, I never felt like I was ever good enough to my brother. I never felt like I was ever good enough to the memory of my father and mother. I know that if I step aside and I do an analysis of my life, what I've done, good job, kid. You did some shit. Cool. That doesn't then remove 30 odd years, almost 40 years, of all of the stuff balled up that sits in the back and still screams at me. So I got to the place where I will continue to try from now until the goddamn wheels fall off every single day. And some days I'll not do so great. Some days I'll do so better. I'm tired of not trying. That's my biggest thing. So self-doubt, okay, fine. I'm just sick of not trying. That's what brought me to all of this. And this isn't the sum of my life, but it's an analog to everything else, because it pulls on those same heartstrings of like, you're not good enough, the numbers hurt you, the people, don't, whatever the fuck. It's all the same stuff that I deal with in my relationship with my wife, the relationship with my family, my relationships at work, my friendships in real life, so to speak. I'm tired of thinking I'm not good enough. And I get to say I am. Some days. A lot more days than I don't. So I don't know from one moment to the next how I'm going to feel, but I can tell you that exhaustion is in this way, in a strange way, I should say, a motivator. Because I'm just tired of hearing the same shit. It's the same message over and over again. Isn't it? It's just the same message over and over again. You are not good enough. You are garbage. Everything you say and do is wrong. Everything you will say from this moment until the end of time is wrong. So stop. Okay, so if that's the case, then what am I going to do? Where do I go from here, right? It goes back to you and I having the conversations about get busy living or get busy dying. What the fuck are you going to do next? Right? Seriously. I know life is more complicated than this, and in this moment right now. I get it. It can't be all summed up into this. But in the end, a decision still must be made. How will you proceed? And for me, I proceed with, I don't want to hear it anymore. Come up with a new slogan. And so that's where I sit with it. Just, yeah.
But that I think that's one of the best places to be. That, okay, I'm tired of this. I need to do something. I've always said this. Even if you do the wrong thing, at least you've done something.
Something. Yes.
And then you've learned, okay, don't do that. Don't do that. I still know what to do, but I know not to do that. Because it didn't give me the response that I wanted. So then I need to take some time to really consider another something else, because something has to work. And it would be amazing. I need something real quick. It'd be amazing if it's just falls and hits you in the head and it just works. Would be awesome, right? Not how that works. The resolution doesn't just knock you in the head and everything's great. We have to work through that. But the working through is, okay, this might be a solution. Consider your pros and cons, weigh it out. Okay. Nothing beats a failure but a what? A try. So you'll never know the actual outcome till you try it. Might be the best thing ever. Might be a learning opportunity. Either way, it benefits you. Notice I didn't say it was a failure. I intentionally didn't say it was a failure.
You didn't go to, yeah.
That was intentional. Because then you're going down that rabbit hole. We just talked about the rabbit hole, because then you're a failure. Why? Because you're not good enough. And then it keeps going. It keeps going. So instead of, oh, it didn't work because I suck. Okay, it didn't work. But what do I learn from this? What do I learn so that when, not if, when I try this again, I come in with a little more experience. I come in with a little more oomph behind what I'm doing. I come in smarter. So it's, it's those kind of things, because you have to make a decision, or you effectively stop your life to a degree, because you're just stuck. You're stagnant. Anything stagnant is not good. I mean, think about water that just sits. One, it starts to stink. Nobody wants to be around that. Then it breeds these things that I absolutely despise. Mosquitoes
Not a
that
fan.
are literally sucking the life out of you, right? Literally. So now this thing serves as this mosquito, constantly pulling out of you and possibly depositing toxic things into you. So take your nasty water, kick the bucket over. That's some water. Take your nasty water, kick your bucket over, spill all of that negativity, spill all of that nonsense, and fill it up with something else. I don't know why this came to mind, but it did. Fill it up with Lucky Charms. Don't know. Random. But
Okay.
because they're magically delicious. But something that makes me happy. So, something that makes me happy. Sure, I'll take the time to take all the marshmallows out. I sure will. Ain't got no problem with it. All right, exactly. But that makes me happy. Now I'm happy. Sure. Maybe I haven't totally solved the issue. Maybe I haven't completely fixed the problem. But I've done something that's put me in a better place. Now I'm in a better place to make better decisions. So sure, while I'm sitting eating my rainbows and my whatever else, I am now trying to make good decisions, because I've taken some action. I do know that was the right action in that sense. Maybe filling the bucket with Lucky Charms, maybe that wasn't so great. Maybe that was just a bonus.
Idea.
Maybe that's just a bonus to kind of get me from over the hump from negativity. Maybe that's what it is. You have to, maybe you need that guilty pleasure, if you want to call it that. But you made the decision to get rid of that thing that was sucking the life out of you, or breeding that which sucked life out of you. Was the breeding ground, was the reason that thing you were sucking life out of you. So now that once you finish clapping, and I'm not for an applause, because how do you kill mosquitoes? No, not an applause.
No.
You know how you kill mosquitoes. You know how you kill them. Yeah, exactly. Once you get finished doing all of that, and you get rid of all of that in your life, there's nothing preventing you from going forward at that point, because you removed everything from what it is. So that's you again, to your point, you've got to do something. You've got to do something.
I want to address something really quick. So with
Yes.
regard to an almost complete contrast to you have to do something, let's understand you can't always do something. And sometimes that's okay too. Very often, we live in, oh God, I wish I remember the name of this book. I never read it, but I heard my sister-in-law talk about it. Essentially what it is it's okay to just simply exist and not go into a direction and continue on with whatever the hell it is you're doing. Not in a bad way, not in a good way. You're just living your life. Because there's this culture that exists where, you need to be overly ambitious. You need to be moving on to the next thing, constantly trying something new. Whereas, it's okay to just not think one thing or the other. Like, if you have a project or something that you've started, or if you have a relationship that you want to rebuild, or you have something about yourself that you want to change, whatever the fuck it is, be reasonable. You doing something isn't the sum of who you are, and your inaction isn't. It's how you approach the problem to begin with. If you say that, listen, I've got 3 fucking kids, I'm working 2 jobs, I don't have the time for whatever the hell this is. Okay. Fine. You're not a failure. It's not in the cards. Oh, but so-and-so is so far ahead of me. This is something I actually want to hear your opinion on, because I've struggled with it, and I've heard other people struggle with it, where everybody is ahead of me. Everybody's so far ahead of me. All my peers, all the people I went to high school with. Facebook's just littered with people with nice houses and families and nice cars. and all these cool vacations, and I'm stuck here in Fuckville, and I do nothing. I hate that. I hate that shit. I hate not feeling good enough. And I've stopped because I know what I with zero irony here, I will often walk in my home, turn to Chippos and say, we have an amazing life. What are we doing? I walk, my power's on. I have air conditioning. I have a car. I can pay my bills. I can go to my sink and turn on and have fresh water. I mean, for all intents and purposes, I fucking made it. So why is what I'm going through in life not good enough? Why is my accomplishments not good enough? And I'm seeing in chat like, yeah, everybody feels it. Why do we always have to compare? You know, like it gets, yeah, you want to do better, you want to do more, you want to strive for something. But we live in a culture where what we do is never enough because somebody is always doing something better. As I said earlier, stronger, faster, better, whatever, smarter. It's always better. And very rarely a long time ago did I ever feel like, I'll tell you what, so like I used to compare myself a lot to my brother. So my brother is one of the smartest human beings I have ever met in my entire life. And I say that with no like, he's my brother and I'm blowing smoke up his ass. He legitimately, like, member of Mensa, 165 IQ, a smart son of a bitch. Can't navigate his way out of a paper bag, but brilliant human being. Has a beautiful family, lovely home, has a great salary. I used to compare myself all the time to him. But then I have to like look at my own accomplishments, look at my life and the things I have done and what I have brought to the table because it's meaningful for me. And why am I using him or anybody else as a yardstick? It's okay to be enough for you. It's okay because I guarantee none of the shit that I think, he thinks. And if he does, or if anybody else does, what the hell does it matter? It's not important. Because none of it's going to motivate me to suddenly like do better. I'm just going to feel worse, right? Like we've talked about. You know, like it's not going to I'm not going to suddenly like, yes, that person thinks I'm garbage. Let's go. Why is the host suddenly working? My host alert just decided to work for some reason. Damn it. I'll be right back. Go ahead.
So I will, I knew you were going to talk about the not doing something. I knew you because I was waiting for it. That I kind of planned that one. Sorry.
Yeah.
Because coming to the realization that nothing needs to be done is still doing something. You come to the realization, hey, just chill. You didn't try to actively do anything to fix it. You just didn't. You know. So I set you up. Sorry about that.
That's okay. I love it. It's great.
because to your point, but you have to take the time to think about the fact that okay, maybe not, maybe just not. That's the thing. This comparison thing.
Yeah, let's walk through this for a while because this is, I'll tell you what, being on Twitch and there being, well, I'm on Twitch here and Facebook, but there's a lot of creators here in my chat. I'm sure there's some on your side too. So this is a good one to walk through.
Where do I start?
Wherever you feel comfortable.
Where do I start? Okay, I don't know why I'm excited. I got a couple places to start here.
I'm excited to talk about horrible shit. Yes, let's do it.
So most people know that I was on the grind for supporters over on Facebook. So the way it works, Facebook has a program similar to the affiliate program on Twitch. However, it does not have subscribers. And so in order for you to get subscribers, you have to have 250 returning viewers over the course of 2 weeks. So if you watch somebody stream this week, you need to go back to the stream next week and watch for at least a minute in order to be considered a returning viewer. Now, also, before I go any further, once you do this level up, once you meet the requirements and you're accepted to the level up program, Facebook pushes you for 2 weeks. It's one of the strongest pushes you'll ever get for 2 weeks. I know a guy and love the man to death. I know a guy who hit level up he would, he able to get into that program, and it just happened that he happened to have COVID during that time. So he had, well, actually, he didn't have COVID. He was not even exposed, possibly exposed to COVID. So the whole quarantine period, that thing like this was, it was recently, but still that whole quarantine, stay home, stuff like that. So he's home streaming more. Something I've never seen or ever heard of. In the 2 weeks following his acceptance to Level Up program, he got 400 or so returning viewers. So he got his supporter. He's got his supporters literally right there. And I'm like, doggone. I'm looking at 50s and he's 300 and 400. I'm like, oh. And he just, and granted, he's been streaming, he's had his account longer than me, but I've been actually streaming longer than he has. And so I was like, well, there I am. And of course, his followage, I think, like tripled. Well, it wasn't huge, but it tripled. So I'm like, okay, well, now I'm behind the 8 ball. Not not intentionally comparing to him, but you see, we all know about metrics. Any creator knows about metrics, right? So you're looking at these things. I'm an editor for his page, which is one step below an administrator, which he is. And so I can see these metrics and then he asked me to check them, just cool. Cause that's, what a good mod would do when asked. You do what you're asked by your creator, right? So like, cool. I'm checking. I'm like, oh, okay. So I said, well, let me look at my metrics since we're here. And I'm looking at his bar graph.
This seems like it was a good idea, by the way, for sure. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm looking at his bar graph all tall, and I go to my bar graph and I'm like, wait, where is it? Wait, where? I don't see it. I think they maybe didn't refresh. So I'm hitting refresh. I'm like, no, I see the number above it, but the little bar graph is like there. I'm like, now I'm so far behind. Now I got to play catch up because he's this, he's that. Sure. I'm like, whatever. Okay, fine. So then, why are you making me talk so long? Then,
ask me a question. Deflect.
So, some of you know, I was featured on Facebook Gaming, where I was actually on the homepage of Facebook Gaming for 2 hours. 2 hours. I was on a supporter push. And I'm thinking, this has to work. There's no way this can't work. And so I started at like 9 o'clock because I knew I had to go longer. So I said, in the interest of not being yelled at, I said, well, I'll come home, I'll take a nap, and then I'll wake up, I'll stream later so I won't be just up. I know I have to at least have to stream to at least 1 o'clock in the morning to finish out this feature. Because the feature was from 11 p.m. to 1 a.m. But I didn't want to start at 11, so I started at 9 to give, that. Because I'm figuring, it's going to be just a little crazy, and we'll do that. And so, time's going on. It's 11:50. It's 10:58, and I'm like, all right, guys, I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm expecting, over time, we'll see more people. Dude, it was absolutely insane. By the time, so it started at 11 o'clock. I turned off my view account. I didn't want to know. I didn't want to know any of that. I just wanted to know. 11 o'clock hits. Of course, you can do likes and stuff like that on Facebook. They take off. I had about 10 to 12 people in the stream. By 11:15, there were 500 people in the stream. 15 minutes. There were over 500 people. We peaked out at 9:47. Concurrent viewers, all at the same time. 947 pairs of eyes looking at me. I didn't even beat the level. I was playing Invictus. I didn't beat the level. And I'm like, and then people are in the chat. We're up to 600. I purposely turned off my viewer count.
Shut up.
I purposely turned it off for you to not know that.
Yeah.
I did that intentionally. And here you are. Over 900. Dude, somebody ban him. Somebody ban him.
Stop that, man.
Banned everybody who says any number. I don't care if they said you have one more try. Ban, it's a number.
Look out.
And I'm like, this has got to be it, right? There is no way, there is absolutely no way that I will not make returning viewers next week. There were 947 people in my chat. 250 of those have to come back.
Yeah.
There is no way. We got 150 followers in that 2-hour period. There is absolutely no way these people won't come back. Guess what? They didn't.
Not a goddamn one of them.
We did
Maybe
not
one.
get supporters. We did not get supporters that next week. And I'm like, are you serious? How is it that, here it comes, how is it that he can hit level up and only get 100 people or maybe 2 in his streams, and he gets 400 returning viewers? I had almost 1,000, and I'm still under 100. What? How did that work? That makes all of no sense. And then there I was on a decline.
Mm-hmm.
That
Life
was
is
when
horrible.
I said, that's
Everything's
when I
awful.
said, I don't want to do this anymore. I want to abandon the push because there's got to be something wrong with me and my content that 947 out of that I couldn't get 250 people out of 947 to come back. Why am I so awful that really you didn't even have to say anything. You just need to be there for a minute. That's all you got to do. You don't have to like it. You don't have to share it. You don't have to send a comment. Just be there. Just literally sit in the stream for 60 seconds. I did 90 just because we can't count. And so we'll say this 63 seconds. Facebook says that it was 59 and you don't count. So if you do 90, you know, it reduces that margin of error significantly because you definitely won't miss 60 going to 90. Or we need to have a different conversation.
Right. Time means nothing anymore.
So I'm like, how does that work? And there's only, when it comes to content, right? There's only one thing that could be the problem when it comes to content. It's got to be the creator. It's got to be. I mean, I got all the cool stuff. I got the lights going on. I got all the alerts that's going on. You know, I'm streaming on both sides. I had people on Twitch saying, "Hey, go over there and do this stuff." You know, and so all this stuff. I had other channels doing it. And I'm like, really? I've had 1,000 eyes between the two platforms at the same time, and none of that. None of that. But what did it for me? What actually turned that around was the Saturday, because and then your push goes from Sunday 12 a.m. Pacific, not specific. I keep wanting to say them differently. 12 a.m. Pacific time to 11:59 that Saturday, same Pacific time. And so I'm in this last streak. I was playing Absolute Power, that level with where we had all those motor skills switching back and forth with all those saws between those two jumps. And I did a 6-hour stream. I was not focused on the game. Not at all. I am at this point focused on numbers because this is the last stream of the night. I'm going at least till midnight Pacific time to get 250 because we are at 239. And so this is happening. What really made me realize that I was good enough, that there was nothing wrong with me, was the amount of streamers who came into the chat to support me. They said to me, "Dude, you have been a beacon of light since we've ever heard of you. There is no way that we couldn't come and do this." The Facebook equivalent of a host is a share on Facebook. And I am looking at 20, 30 shares from the same person. My community was, hopefully they didn't get in trouble. They are taking people's phones and going into Facebook on these people's accounts, looking at a video from last week, coming back in this week to become a returning viewer. They told me this. It would be some strange name. They'd be like, yeah, this is so-and-so. I've got so-and-so's phone. I'm like, okay, don't be careful, please. I know you're trying to help, but please be careful. Don't talk to Joe down the street and say, hey, I need your phone. Go log into Facebook. In fact, just come here. I'll do it myself. Don't do that.
Hand me your phones.
But it was happening all over the place. I remember they had like 15 to 20 content creators alone in the stream, because I told them, I said, hey, listen, me being me, I said, hey, listen, I don't want you in as your personal account. Come on as your page, because I want the people here to support you as you support me. That's how I work. And so, but I got to see who was here, and that was the point that made me realize that I didn't need to compare myself to any other creator, because there is only one me. Sure, there are other people with the name Drop the Hammer, which is why my account is Drop the Hammer too.
It's ridiculous. You're the only Drop the Hammer to me.
That's why we're Drop the Hammer too, because there was already a one, and it was already a name without the one. So I'm at least number three. But there is only one Drop the Hammer. This one. Only one person that does the things the way I do them. Nobody else. And that the way I do them, the way I handle it, is good enough. So after all of that, them showing support, because that's not why I did. Don't misunderstand. I didn't go to their stream to support them with the hope that they'll support me. I never planned on streaming. We've had this conversation. I do. Let me not say that, because I'll get in trouble. For a long time, I didn't understand why people came back. I'm like,
I would have yelled at you.
I know. That's why I stopped. I'm like, I'm playing games horribly. I have this thing when I talk that I hate that I do, that I've done within the scope of this. I just did it, actually, just right there, trying to talk about it. I have this thing where I will be talking in a sentence and I will just rush through a part of it and just say a whole bunch of words in a really small span of time. Hate it. I hate it. I just started watching my own streams with sound. I had to watch them on mute, but I just started watching with sound because I hated the way that I sound. I'm okay with it now, to a degree. But that's what made me realize that, hey, back to this, I keep coming back here. This narrative that you made about yourself is not a thing. So stop it. Just stop it.
Cut it the fuck out already.
Just stop it. And then for every creator out there, you stop it too. Yeah, I'm yelling at everybody. Any creator, because we're talking about that specifically now. Any creator, stop it. I don't care if you're creating videos. I don't care if you're creating t-shirts. I don't care if you're creating whatever you're creating. Just stop it. Just stop it.
But wait a minute. Why is that person doing better than me? Why? See, that's the shit. And I'm going to steal the ball from you a little bit.
Steal it.
That's
Take
the
all of
shit
it.
That creeps in to my head and to everybody else's head because I've had enough conversations. Why are they doing better than me? Why is that person getting attention? And it's not specific. Like, I've said this, and I really do mean this. I treasure the friendships that I have made on this platform with the creators that I have made friends with. I cheer every single one of them on because that's why we're in a community. That's why we grow. That's why we join communities. That's why we make friends with the people that we make friends with. We want to see our friends succeed, but that doesn't mean those visceral feelings, the ones that we felt when we were 5, when that kid across got a bigger piece of cake than we did, that doesn't stop that shit from happening. I had a situation recently where a friend was embarrassed by an emotion they felt of being jealous of something that happened to me. And they were so embarrassed, they were in tears over it. And here is why I was mad at this person. Not because they were jealous, because they were mad at themselves for feeling it. It's okay to feel negative emotions, the shitty feelings of like that you talked about just now the whole time. Why is this, this guy, I had 1,000 people in my chat. Why the hell can't I make support? All this stuff. It's what you do with that emotional, that crappy feeling. That is the huge distinction in your character, how you treat other people. It's okay to feel jealousy. It's okay to not feel like you're doing the right thing. But it's what you do with that set of emotions, to your point, to continue to go, to continue on, to not, to just continue creating. And I know we've all heard it over and over again, and it's kind of tiresome at this point, but it's no less true. Cliches are cliches for a reason, right? Like, I mean, that's what brings us to this place of like, why I think this is an important conversation to have, not just in life. And we kind of really did talk about the more important pieces of life specific to self-doubt. But again, that we exist in this creative space because, I mean, it's not just about Twitch or Facebook. I mean, there's, like you said, there's people out there making other things, creating YouTube videos or music. And the simple fact is the success rate of most creators is pretty low. But what's your bar of success? I like photography. I think I take okay, decent pictures. I've gotten past the I'm garbage to I'm okay. I have things I like. I love existing in that space because to me, it's enough. And whatever it is you're doing has to be enough for you. Right? Like wherever you are, you have to be okay with being there because whatever the hell is down the road for you does not fucking matter until you get there. So whether you're struggling at 1 viewer, 2 viewers, 20, 50, or whatever your metric of success. Let's say, you're sitting there with, you got that partner check mark that all, people on Twitch would like to have, but, you've got 100 people in chat or 120. Why aren't I doing what this person's doing? To somebody like myself or somebody, who's just starting out with, a few people, well, I want what that guy wants. Well, that guy wants what that guy wants. It's never enough. So existing in a space, and it's something I struggle with. I do better with it. I have my moments. But all these negative emotions, it's what you do with it. It's what I do with it that makes the difference. Can I feel jealousy? Can I feel demoralized? Sure, it's fine. Will I still continue to support the people that I love? Of course I will. Will I say negative things about them? No, why would I? I have nothing to say other than keep fucking going, right? I mean, same thing with you and I here. We exist in competition with each other. Competition, I'm speaking in vague terms. I mean, we're both doing our own thing. But we're here together because we care about this thing. There's no competition. We have a love for each other that brings us to the space where we can have these conversations and be vulnerable. Anyway, you get my point. Yeah, like right up there. But that's what I'm saying. Like, it's okay to exist in these spaces and have these feelings, but move the fuck on. Ultimately is what I'm getting at. So kind of see, this is in this moment, so you talk about the shit that you do, me summing it up because there's silence here. That's the shit that I do. Like, stop talking. Let the silence exist. It's okay.
Well, here's the thing, right? It's you need to
Mhm.
talk because I've done a lot of talking. I've talked. I've
I'm
cried. I'm
yes, you
all
have.
dehydrated and stuff. I just
Drink
all.
up. Everybody hydrate check in chat and you.
I did. I've got my red GTH
Okay.
cup with the old logo, not the new one. That I made, by the way, that I thought was a problem. So there's that. But we won't even go on. But I thought it was a problem because the paper came off here and I had stuff there. That was my issue, which is that's actually why I haven't. You should see. I mean, you should see. I have all kinds of stuff. Remember this?
Yeah. Love it.
There's 5 in here because it wasn't perfect.
Of course it wasn't.
It wasn't perfect.
Mm-hmm.
And then, all right, so let me back up. So everybody knows Team Innocent, right? If you're unsure, exclamation mark innocent. Both
Goddamn
sides.
right. Goddamn
It,
right.
it,
Mm-hmm.
it'll give you information. I keep I need to redo it because we had a sassy. But at the time, it was Sid, Tom, JB, and Silly, right? And so I was like, and we've talked about this before. This random guy, who is dropped the hammer to? Who is that? Suddenly is defending everybody. Where did he come from?
Because he knows the truth.
Clearly,
He's
he
willing
knows
to fight
something
for
that
it.
nobody else knows. Where did he come from, and where has he been all this time?
Goddamn right.
That's literally like I didn't know any of this stuff. You know, I didn't know that they existed. When I first because I started in JB's chat, is where I started, and immediately knew that he was innocent. All of the accusations, I knew they were false. And so what did I do? I defended him. I'm like, you're not Gary to jump, you're not Gary to bombard him, you're not Gary to overwhelm him, you're not Gary to riot and attack him because he's innocent. And so if I have to be the one beacon of light, the one man stand against it, that's me. And I was like, wait, there's more people being accused?
That's right.
There's more? So then I was like, I need to go see Silly. Wait a minute. I will not stand for this. No, I will not. Did too? Got it. Cool. I'm there. Then it was like, wait, so now you're accusing Tom, hashtag Team Tom, for his association? Nope. Well, I won't have it. I will not stand for it. So here we are. 100% innocent, just in case you were unclear. And again, if you have any issues with that, it says directed to somebody, that's me. Directed right to me. I will take care because a lot of what I've seen is either doctored or somehow or another it's been misconstrued
Suddenly,
into what it is. And
my
so
side of chat's just gonna fuck off. By the way, everyone's gonna leave.
I take time to review each and every clip that is presented, everything presented. I take time to review because think about it. Whenever something presented, I always respond to it. Every time. I always respond to it. Even when some people make my job difficult.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't either. I'm just randomly talking off the top of my head. I do what I do.
Sure.
But so then I was like, because I was in a real dark place at that point. And it was that whole thing that pulled me out of that. And so these 4 men had no clue the effect that they had on my life. No clue. Because for one, they still don't know where I came from. And so I said to them,
this day,
well,
it's still confusing.
First, I asked, I said, I need one of your emotes.
Oh God, this is weird. By the way, I got to be honest, but I trusted you. But go ahead.
Like I need one of your emotes. And he responded to the message. I didn't see it, actually. He was like, well, what are you going to do? And then so I just hadn't seen his response. And so he sent it to me. He sent me all of them. I was like, oh, well, okay, I didn't need but one, but
I didn't
sure.
know which one you wanted.
And there I said, bet. And so I have a thing called the lab. That's where all my equipment is, all my stuff. And I was like, I think I want to make a mouse pad. So he sent it. I got it. 15 minutes later, he had a mouse pad. Just because it only took that long because I couldn't decide what I wanted to do. Because it only takes about 5 minutes to make. Mouse pad. I say, hey, I did a thing. Like, okay. That's awesome. He said, that's cool. I said, well, how do I get it to you? And he's like, excuse me? I don't want it. It's for you. It's for you because you don't know. And that's one of my things. When people have that effect, I just go to making stuff. And my mods, they yell at me because they check their mailbox and something's there. They had no clue that anything was coming. They're just like, did you? I did. Why didn't you tell me? Because I didn't want to. Don't tell me how to support you. And so
Still my
uh so there's that. And so what I did was, and you all have seen it, between the four of them, I made them a mouse pad, a coaster, a tumbler, and I gave them some onion flowers.
Yes, by the way. No. All of which you mentioned before is on my other desk.
Yeah, I gave them some onion flowers. Because we've seen you hit yourself in the face or your teeth with said cup.
I know what you're talking about.
I don't either. So there's that, right? So, and I genuinely expressed to them, I don't know where I'm going with this. I genuinely expressed to them,
Well, you were talking about where you were when you sort of the formation of this thing that you were defending and why
oh
you brought
yes,
it. Yeah.
yes. And I go into and I sent it to them. I sent JB's all the way to Australia. I was almost getting to get on the plane and go find it because they almost lost it. And I was getting to deliver it to him myself, which that would have been weird. But I was on my way. And Silly's all the way to the UK. And Tom.
I was saying, yeah, Tom too.
Only person that got there as quick was Sid because he's here domestically. And I sent Sid's overnight. I sent all of them as quick as I could get them there. I know what I did. Don't tell me what I did.
I can't
I
imagine.
sent them as quick as I could, just because I wanted them to understand how they affected me and where it is that they brought me from. And so that's part of how this came to be. I didn't know Sid from a can of paint. If it was Sid and a can of paint,
I am not a can of paint, by the way.
If it was Sid and a can of paint, I wouldn't know them apart.
I am not a can of paint, sir.
But look at where we are now. Never met the guy. The most I've seen is what I see now. And as Little Hammer, because Little Hammer loves Sid.
Oh, this is adorable.
Sid is Daddy's friend who says, "Where are you? Are you friendly? And how old are you?" That's who he's. Because so if I'm ever watching the stream, it's like, oh, Daddy, it's your friend. Yes, it's your friend that says, "Who are you?" And it's your friend that says, "Who are you?"
Oh, that's why he walks around the house with the phone. I forgot about that.
He walks around with a phone, with my phone, as his spirit box, asking, "Where are you?
So
how old are you? Are you friendly?" Now, let me tell you something. Should that phone say something, getting a match, and I burn it down. That's where we go.
Yeah.
But that's where I was going. It was also them who brought me out of that space of, because again, it was a really dark time. It was a really rough time. And it was the four of them. And not that anybody else didn't, right? Don't misunderstand me. I'm not saying that nobody else did. But the interaction, this whole innocent, not innocent thing, which if you come over my chat, you can type not innocent, it'll tell you it's not a thing. Yeah, sit up straight. You
mind your business over there.
It brought me out of a really tough place. And not knowing that there was others who were in dark places, and them bringing me out of a dark place, and which caused me to do what I did, brought them out of a dark place. How does that even work?
God knows.
I had no clue that was a thing. And so it helped to erase a lot of the self-doubt that I had as a person, in all of the aspect that make me a person, and all of the hats that I wear. So here we go. I'm so visual and I love it. So It erased self-doubt from this hat. It erased, there's a bunch of them right here. It erased self-doubt from this one. It erased, look, that's cool. Erased self-doubt from that one. It erased self-doubt from that one. So in all the hats that I was wearing, it helped to erase all the self-doubt that I had.
You look ridiculous. All those hats on.
I couldn't find it. There's one more I couldn't find. But there it is. It helped to remove the self-doubt in Russell the father, or Russell the creator, or Russell the supervisor, or the employee at this time, Russell the this, Russell the that. It completely unrelated to what I was doing, but because it reaffirmed me. And not that, well, to this point, two of my biggest fears: to not be good enough and to not be needed. Two of my absolute biggest fears. I was already dealing with both of them. They did not need me to say anything, because clearly it was very evident that they were innocent. They didn't need me to do anything. But something as small as that turned my entire life around. I told them, I will share this much of it. I wrote them. I had them. And I typed up a nice little note. This was beginning of onion flowers.
I was gonna say, yeah, that was your first onion flower delivery. God damn it!
I didn't know that.
Remember that shit.
I didn't know onion flowers were a thing at the time. But I'm like, I'm gonna be honest. I'm going to be honest. And where is that? I'm going to read part of it. Where is that? I know I saved it.
Read it. It made me cry the first time. What are you doing?
Yeah, I'll make you cry again. I've already cried. It's your turn, Nicole. You cried too.
I was gonna say, pretty sure I was there with you.
Where is it? Because the last line I remember, it says,
digital. I don't know. Everset. She's asking, wasn't the first one to me the day I was in a bad place for
probably.
when you did it in chat?
Probably. If not,
so.
It probably so. Where it's on my desktop. I never moved it. There it is.
Let's say I have it in the drawer over there if you'd like it.
Oh no, wait, I just moved it. It's in this folder. It's not in that folder. Everybody be still. That's still a thing. Nobody move. Team innocent. Where's the card? Where's the card? There it is, I think. Even Peggy wanted a thing too.
Oh, that's right. I remember.
Yeah,
Peggy approved. I remember. Yes. She sent me the picture.
Yeah, Peggy approved. That's not it.
Peggy Rogers 96 approved.
She did approve. Stamp. Okay, I can't find it. But the last line said, "Thank you for saving my life."
Yeah.
And I'm sure that because I cried typing it.
Yeah, and I cried reading it. So there we are.
That was the last time. Was thank you for saving my life. What are you saying, Russ? What are you saying, dude? You have no clue the effect that you have on people.
Yeah.
So stop being so hard on yourself.
Yeah.
Even in some of your worst moments, you are having the greatest impact that you may never even realize. So just don't do it. And sure, that might sound like simple. Just don't do it. Just don't do it.
It's fine. It's easy.
It's just like that. And granted, that's a process. But I think part of this is knowing that if you understand that you're having an effect, even in your rough time, even in your difficult time, you know that you're having an effect. I think that would help to turn all this around, because they had no clue. I mean, again, I said it, but they had no clue that they did all of that for me. No clue. And so,
can I say something really quick? The first time I've interjected, by the way.
You've done good.
I haven't done good. Talk about your being self-aware, or at least trying to be. Talk about moments where you think you're gonna cry. My wife, woman I've loved for almost 18 years. I forget what the context was, but I was saying some really awful shit about myself out loud. And she turned to me And she's like, what does that say about me?
Wow.
Like, if you're all of that, then what does that say about me and everybody else who loves you?
Whoa. I was not ready for that one.
And it's true. Because while you can do a fuck, sorry, I don't know why I just randomly that came in my head, and I'm all the things that you think about yourself, all the horrible crap. What does that say about the people who love you and believe in you and triumph you and champion it? Are they garbage too? Because that's what you're saying. It. I can't believe I just remembered it. God damn it. But it's true though. So all the people that you love, who love you, you're hurting them. And I think that does also help to not. Yeah, it's your turn.
No,
Take that
sir.
and
No,
take that
sir.
and run with it.
You will finish that. No, sir. You will finish that. Finish it.
No, I think I think I kind of did. I mean, you guys got the goddamn point though, right? Like,
No, you didn't finish it. You copped out because we're all in tears. So no, you will finish that. You will own this. You will go all the way through.
all right.
Yes, you will.
Yeah, well, I cried to his story earlier. I thought that was good enough. No, but seriously, like, this is a woman who has been my best friend and believed in me, and talk about a person who just makes you feel all the things you want to feel as a husband, as a man, as a friend. And she just says, and she just like, it's like a kill shot. What does that say about? Because I think the world of her. Like, the woman out there is like, I treasure her more than anybody. And here I am destroying the person that she loves. And it's not about you can't be critical. And it's not about you can't. But when you truly demoralize yourself in such a way, you are in a way insulting those people that cherish you as well. So yeah, that's it. That's it. There. You wanted me to cry, God damn it, there we are.
Because here's the thing, right? To your point. To your point. All right. Well, okay. So me thinking to myself, God, Russell, you're a terrible father. That means that little hammer. It means little hammer. As precious and as innocent as he is, has garbage or whatever it is I say about myself as a father. And then he then has to grow up. He has to grow up with the impression that his father is this. Daddy is this. And if that's what I'm giving him, that's all he'll ever know. He'll never know that daddy is strong. He'll never know that daddy is courageous. He'll never know those things. All he'll know is daddy is a failure. All he'll know is daddy is this, daddy is that. And then with him striving to be like me, then I'm already presetting him. I'm already setting him up to deal with self-doubt issues. Because and he's at a point now where he understands what these words mean. So it's not just he repeats it, and he knows what these words mean. And so now I'm saying or demonstrating these things in front of him wanting to be like me, A equals B, B equals C, so A equals C. I'm a failure. He wants to be like me, so he's a failure. In his mind. He may not be, but he wants to be like a failure. So the best he'll ever be in his mind, this is just a mindset. This is not actuality, but if what he wants to be is a failure, he's literally striving to fail. I've said this in different conversations that the things that we do, everything that we do affects us and at least one other person. But in affecting one other person, you really have the potential to affect the entire world. How? That one person goes and affects somebody else. Sure, it may not get all the way across the world, right? But now these people are interacting. You don't know what that effect could have on somebody else. I mean, think to what you just said. You had never once considered how Chippo said about what you were saying, how it made her feel about herself. Never once considered that. You're
Not
just
even
like,
close.
no, this is me. I got these issues. I'm this, I'm that. Never once considered how that makes her feel. Who's to know what conversations that she had, that then could affect somebody else. And that's why it's important to be very careful. Self-doubt is a thing that will eat you alive if you let it.
And it's okay to have it. It's okay to self-doubt.
Yes.
It's part of life. The difference between what you pointed out in the beginning, the very beginning of the stream, versus this, you let it dominate everything about you.
Right.
When in the end, it's okay just to be a person. Just accept your flaws and accept that you're good at things and accept that there's a confluence in the middle of all of it, the shit that you're good at and bad at, and not finishing somebody's sentence and not finishing the thought somebody else had, not putting your thoughts in somebody else's head, and not disrespecting the relationship you have with the person that you love, and not putting the image of what a man should be to the son in this place of like, I'm a failure. So that's that. Daddy thinks that. So, okay. Subconsciously, as you said, that's what he'll think.
Yeah. And so one thing that I do with him is I always try to reaffirm him. Always. In the simplest thing. He was playing tag with Ryan on his tablet. So if you don't know who Ryan is, he's a really popular kid, has his own show, things like that. And he has a few characters around that I have to know. Combo Panda and Gus. Is he a frog? I don't know what Gus is. He's some sort of something. And so in the game, it is it's like Subway Surfers. You're going through, you're collecting suns and pizzas and treasure chests and keys. You're avoiding Combo, who's chasing you. And if you run into something, he tags you, then you lose. But at some point, Gus, and whatever animal he is, you're chasing after Gus. And if you tag Gus, then you get some sort of special prize. So he's playing. He's like, oh man, I done lost so and so. I'm like, well, wait. Because then he goes, well, Dad, because I don't know. I should have did this. I don't know how I was able to do that. Because I should have did this. I don't like when I do that. Whoa, wait, stop everything. And then he's so cute. Well, what's wrong, Daddy? First of all, don't do that to me.
Stop being cute. I'm trying to talk to you.
Don't do that. We're having a real conversation. Don't do that. I'm like, well, wait, just try again. It's okay. If you didn't make it that time, try again. And he's like, oh, okay. And he's what's happening? He goes again. And I wish it was that simple, right? I wish
Right.
Okay. And he goes back into it. And then he'll say, oh, Daddy, I tag Gus. And my thing is, we're here to have a party. We're having an absolute party. Like, you did what? We're going to get ice cream. That's all it takes. We won't do this every time, but we're going to get ice cream, which we probably won't end up doing anyway, or doing something anyway. But it reaffirms, okay, you made it. Great job, because you persevered through whatever it is you were trying to get through. You made it through that. And so that's reason to celebrate. But even if you didn't, try again. It doesn't have to be all of that stuff that just pressures you and weighs you down. Okay, you didn't make it. Cool. Try again. And then when you do, enjoy the feeling of your success. Enjoy it. And then because then he wins, he goes right back to it. And I'm like, okay, buddy, I think you've tagged Gus 80 times today. We're not going to get ice cream every time you tag us. We're not doing that, But my thing is, at least another is good job. Congratulations. So that, and he's so sweet. Congratulations. Thank you, Daddy. It's every time. And I'm like, now stop talking. Don't say thank you, because it's the best thing ever to me. Don't ever do that again. Because now I want to cry because you said thank you. All you said was thank you. And now because I'm dealing with my own issues about self-doubt. I told you congratulations. You're happy. Now I'm going to cry. But whatever. Don't do that to me. With your cute and innocent self. Truly innocent. But it's that affirmation of you are good enough. Because I didn't get that.
Yeah.
To the point, it taught me something. Again, Mom had good intentions. That didn't work well. And so, okay, so how can I then look for that same result, but go about it a different way? He got his report card recently. Did great. He said, Daddy, what does it look like? And they are on a 4-point rating system. So 1, 3, 1 meaning needs some definite improvement. 3, at least you're meeting expectation for as exceeding. I'm like, you got all 3s, buddy. Congratulations. I'm so happy. I am so proud of you. Not, well, they should have been 4s. Not that. But you did it. Congratulations. I'm so happy. I'm so proud of you. Then it is, well, Daddy, can we go get so-and-so? Probably not today. Because now you want a special treat. Now you want a surprise. You want all this stuff. But you can't ask me for a surprise. That's not how surprises work. We're working through that process of, if you know something's coming, then it's not really a surprise. But it is for him. I'm going to get you a surprise, and I'm going to get this. But he gets it, and we thought he never knew. But it is that affirming of good job. It is that affirming, because we need that, especially maybe getting something else. A lot of times it's males. Yeah. Because we touched on this briefly last time about the treatment between, and not that it's a gender thing, but males and females are just treated differently. It's just a thing. And so even as just a male, giving him that, because there's enough things to beat him down. Somebody's got it.
I was gonna say somebody will. Yeah.
Yeah. Somebody's gonna do it. So then why not be the opposite? Why not be the one to constantly build him? So even if they are chipping away at that, he's already built. He's already been solidified. He's already been fortified to be able to withstand that and not have the effect that it could have. Granted, when he doesn't do things right, we talk about it. It's like, well, almost. Or sometimes it's like, yeah, you didn't do that right at all. But let's work through it. Here's how we can work through this. Because sometimes he's like, Daddy, look. And I'm like,
They're not all
okay.
home runs, kid.
Forget home runs. Dude, you didn't even make it to the park. You're
in the parking lot.
You didn't make it that. You hadn't even left home. You don't have anything. You are nowhere near that. Because one time I said, one thing about me, don't catch me off guard because stuff flies out of my mouth. He did something. I said, oh my God. He said, what's wrong, Daddy? I said, I just had a thought about something. Not lying. I had a thought.
Right.
I just couldn't tell you what
to share.
I just couldn't tell you what it was. I had a thought. And he said, well, what is it? And so I had to rework that thought because he's just like me. He's quick to the trigger. So I had to rework that thought but it was to build him up. It was intentionally building him up as a result of my being torn down. Yeah. But trying to achieve the same result.
Yeah. We landed in an interesting spot, I will say. I really, which I love because I'm very much I will study for the test 5 minutes before it, maybe even during it. I don't know. We'll see. Procrastination is key. So the fact that we landed where we are now, and it's a good enough transition to sort of start bringing us to like, okay, so like where do we go from here, right? We've kind of delineated my and yours sort of self-doubt, our definitions, our experiences, where it brings us, the dark places we go. So then, like, I don't know if we have to have a message necessarily or anything like that, but like, where do we go from here? I think, like, you kind of even asked the question earlier, so I'll ask it of you. What do you do personally, as far as like day to day, week to week, whatever?
One of the things that I do, and I touched on this earlier, is I just choose to think that Russell is great.
I would agree with that message, by the way. Russell's pretty fucking awesome. You don't get no. Mm-hmm. No, whatever, man. Goddamn it.
Russell is great, and he will let no one tell him otherwise, as much as possible. Right, as much as possible. Well, let me retract that. Russell is great, no matter what anybody else tells him, except for himself. Sometimes, because that's where the problem is.
No, that goes against everything we just said.
I know, but that's where that happens, because I've somewhat built this or developed this thick skin that, oh well, you're just not all right. Oh, okay, that's fine. Oh, okay, I'm cool with being not all right. I think I'm okay with that. And I'm cool. Okay, cool. And people hate that. Because somebody told me, this is no lie, the other day, you know what? You are the worst person I've ever met. I looked at them and I said, okay, cool. And walked away. And they just stood there because they were expecting me to do something else. I'm just like, okay, cool. Because my thing is, here's the thing. When I got up this morning, what I did not consider was your opinion. That was not what I was thinking about when I got out of bed. Not at all. I did not think, you know what, that person may think I'm horrible because I got out of bed on this side, or I did this. And I'm like, no, because at the end of the day, your opinion really affects nothing in my life. So why does it have to have so much weight? Why does it have to have so much weight? It shouldn't, in my opinion. It really shouldn't. And so I'm like, nah. And then I was told, how did they say that? You got to clean your fish. That's what I was told. You got to clean your fish.
The hell?
So you got to take that's good for you and take it and throw the rest of it away. So you're telling me that I'm the worst person ever? Really doesn't do anything for me. So sure, I'll take those bones out and I'll throw those away. Because that doesn't help me. That's not helpful. All it's gonna do is choke me up and cause problems. So so that part of the fish, I'll just clean that up and
I mean, you
take
can
that
make a
out.
fish broth with it, though. You put in. Oh, sorry. Is that not where we're going with this?
No, not
My
like that.
commentary. Okay, sorry.
Not like that.
Okay.
But actually, just like that. Because, okay, sure, I'm the worst person that you ever met. Cool. So I'll take those bones and that will push me to be a better person because you think I'm awful. So cool, let's do that. But I'd rather just throw it away because really you don't matter anyway. Because if you got nothing really to say that's going to help me, I mean, then cool. That's fine. I mean, another statement I've heard that you can make your mouth say anything and it'll just say it. It doesn't have to be true. It doesn't have to have any weight. It does. It's usually just words because just what mouths are made to do is to talk. So sure, say words. But I was hurt enough by words that I then learned to not always take them at face value. And that's one of the things that is I think my biggest strength and also my biggest challenge. Keywords again, not a weakness, challenge.
Challenge.
It's overthinking.
I'm gonna break right in as I do. No, seriously, how you define things matters a lot. The words you use are tremendously important. So when you do phrase things like challenge, it's really important. So don't dismiss that. Sorry, I had to make that point.
And that's why I learned, for example, and I'm full of examples. I was in a safety class and we were talking about evacuations. And they said if there's a fire or something, you tell people, please walk, rather than don't run. Don't run, everybody takes off in every direction.
You put the word run in people's heads.
Exactly. But please walk indicates, well, there's nothing wrong. It's all calm because we're already having to leave. I know something's up. If you're telling me not to run, you're telling me there's a reason I should be running. So I don't care what you say. If you don't move, I will trample you. Because there wouldn't be a need for you to say don't run if I didn't need to run. You wouldn't need to say that. But well, just please walk. Okay. And you say that. So to your point, those kind of things make a difference. So yes, thinking is, I think, my biggest strength, but also one of my biggest challenges because you're the worst person ever. Well, wait a minute. I know some pretty bad people.
Yeah.
And I didn't do it, not to do this comparison, but I didn't do so and so and so and so. I didn't, I'm not a mass murderer. I didn't kill a bunch of people. I think that's pretty bad. I didn't do that. So I can't be the worst person ever.
A little further down the tiers.
Even if I'm, if there's like a list of 50 and they're number one, at least I'm number two. At least number two. So I'm not the worst person. So then, but how about I can stop there? And sure, that may be comical, but I can stop there because you said I was the worst person and I'm not. So that anything else you said about it doesn't matter because it's not true. The rest, you might say I'm the worst person because, well, if I'm not the worst person, after because doesn't matter because it's already not true. So that I can get rid of that. I can not worry about that. And so I've used this thought process to really take the time to analyze kind of what people say to make sure that I'm not putting myself because they can't put me anywhere. I put myself in these bad places. They may assist because I feel, right? I feel, and granted, whatever they say may not make me feel good, but to a degree, I still have a say in that. Is all in what I do with what it is I'm presented with. It may hurt, but I still need to decipher and discover and uncover, I guess, what I'm going to do with that. But there was something else that I was going to say that was super important
That's okay.
that I've forgotten.
That's okay. Well, okay. So let me do this. I'll pose a question because we'll probably wrap up here in a little bit, but
Yep.
I don't want to rush to the end just for the sake of rushing to the end. Um, why do you have in that moment all the confidence in the world to tell that person to go kick rocks? Biggest of rocks, least of shoes, as you would put it. Why can't you tell this the same damn thing? Like, and I don't, again, I don't want to have to continuously revisit the same subjects over and over again, or talk in circles here, but like, to the point of the self-doubt thing, like, why am I both in the same moment one of the most confident people in certain situations, and then I am trash more than half the other times? You know? Why? How can I have this obnoxious fucking ego, and then I'm just minuscule and piece of garbage? Like, why can't I just exist in the space between? Does anybody? That's the other question we have to ask ourselves. Does anybody really? Like, if you ask enough people, sure, you might find the outliers here and there. But do most of us exist in this space? I don't know. I'm asking a question. I don't know the answer. I don't know that you have it. I'm just posing it.
Say this. I'll definitely say this. I am most vulnerable to myself. I am 100% most vulnerable to me. And where do I really go from there? And so the things that I have kind of in the back of my head are the things that I've pushed back for this confidence that you see. But at some point, you can only push so much back there. And until some of it creeps back up and makes you realize, this to a degree, I think that's somewhat healthy because it can keep you humble to a degree. But, not so that you are the cocky, arrogant one that one no one wants to be around. Then that's something different.
Yeah.
Right. So I think to a degree that's good. But when you are it again, for me, that's where my biggest challenge comes. Because then if I'm in a weird space, everything then is negative. I'm thinking about it in that sense because I am an extremes guy. I really am. All the way good, all the way bad. There's no, that's not so bad. Nope. Either we're here or we're over here.
Meanwhile, that's where 99.9998% of life exists, in that space you're refusing to acknowledge.
Exactly. To the point of this whole case study,
which was chef's kiss. Perfect.
So I've always been a man of extremes. I don't know why. I would love to just be able to be like, let's just coast in the middle.
You already said why.
Yeah, I did. I'm black or I'm white. That was a weird statement, but
it's okay.
But it is. I'm sure either it's this color, this one, or it's that one. There's no in between with me. There's just not for whatever it is. Because I am. And I've learned then I am learning to manipulate that, because that's how I am, at least for the time being, manipulate that. If we're going to be that way, then how do we stay on the good side as much as possible? Is it going to happen every time? Of course not. But how do I then manipulate that. I've shown, and I can't find it, but I'll use this. I've adopted this kind of mentality as much as possible. I've shown this before. I got a wine punch, which I've drank most of, and I'm going to have some more here shortly. Is it wine punch? Yes. People say glass half full, glass half empty. I don't think either one of those. This jug is full. Rosa, you lie. Don't call me a liar. It's full. How do you say that? There's that much juice and that much air. It's full. Now, it's not full of what I want, but it's full. And so, in order to get all this refreshing stuff, I got to get through all this stuff and get through whatever's there, right? Sure, right now that's just air, but that could be hard times, could be disappointment, could be so on, but it leads me somewhere. It's leading me to something that's going to be very refreshing. Because this, when it's cold, is very refreshing, which is why I'm upset that I don't have any more in my cup. But my thing is, if I can just get through this, if I can just make it through all of this, I get to be refreshed. I get to be renewed. I get all of that stuff like that. And so it is my goal to make it here. Even if I make it just right there, just right. I ain't got to get down here. I just need to make it right there. And that's enough to refresh me. For the next thing that's going to come, sure, something else is coming. But it kind of gives me a chance to catch my breath and be able to move kind of past that. So that's some of my mindset. Again, it does not work because sometimes forget that. I don't want it anyway. I don't want to deal with that to get to that. But then what if I really take time? I'm like, but is that really how I feel? Or am I just aborting, giving up because it's hard? Because it's tough, because it's uncomfortable, because it makes me that up there, because it makes me vulnerable. Am I just opting not to for those reasons? Yeah, I hate that word. Am I opting out for that reason? Because then one thing, then it's a challenge. Don't challenge me because I'm going to push towards it. And so again, working off the fact that I know that I don't like to be challenged and don't meet it. Now I've challenged myself because I can meet that. I can meet that goal that I've set for myself. I can do that. And that's kind of what pulls me out of that. Because I think I can do anything until I can't.
Yeah, it's fun to exist in that space, right? I can do anything, but I can't.
Yeah.
This weird fucking binary madness that exists. I am both the greatest and worst human being ever. Talk about your
all at the same time.
All at the same time. Yeah. I'm Schrodinger's person. I'm either garbage or the best person ever. No, and you don't know until you take the action.
You don't know until you know.
Yeah. So with not rushing to the end, with knowing that, I don't know if we want to take feedback from chat or at like questions or whatever. Do you feel like you've explored this space thoroughly enough as far as like, yeah, we talked about our definitions, we talked about examples, we talked about, day-to-day stuff, but I mean, I think we even talked about takeaways. So I don't know what else, like what other, areas we can sort of tread with this topic.
I think we're good.
Yeah.
I think we're good because we're at a point now where we have the information, we have our takeaways that we then have to alter maybe slightly to make it specific to us. Because what works for you may not exactly work for me. So you take the idea and you make it yours. I think we're good with this topic because now it's time to put these things, even us still put these things into practice. Because we know we have the issues. We know that. That's why we're all here, right? We know that. So now it is time to walk away from this conversation and walk into some space with a mirror and have a discussion with yourself that says, okay, I have this information now. What am I going to do?
What the hell do I do next? And that's what I was saying before. Because again, for me, tired of it. This whole thing that we're doing, this whole vulnerable thing, the title, the frames, all of it creates anxiety. Is it going to be good enough? Are people going to care? I simply am tired of thinking all of this shit. I am tired of the feeling that when I move my mouse across and I hit the start button, that no one's going to be here. I have to be okay with the result. And I am. I am feeling better about the idea of just being okay with proceeding forward, because I know this is something that I want. I'm excited about this project, this thing that we're doing. It's exciting to me, and I know people are responding to it. I get that, but we're talking about self-doubt and the subject of self-doubt, so it kind of makes sense. Like, here we were before the stream, we're getting all, I gotta get this together, I gotta move this over here, I gotta make sure this is good, and I don't know if anybody's gonna like this, and we're, blah 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 blah.
An hour before the
I'm gonna
stream,
keep trying it.
an hour before, because my internet unalived, and it wasn't because I kicked the I didn't kick the router this time. It just wasn't working. So here we are, little less than an hour, actually, less than an hour, and we're like, oh, because here's the thing, right? We did some work off stream. I mean, you can tell we put some work into it. We've got all kind of cool things going on.
Stop. Hold on. Full stop. You put work into it. You. No. I just sat there. I was like, I don't like that font. I'm not a fan of.
No, because we did this together.
I know.
Like you say, we did this all together. He did do that, but we did this together. Together because we were like, we if we're going to do it, we need to be legit in doing it, right? We need to do it, and so it'd be ever evolving until we get it, like we wanted. We're pretty close.
Yeah,
but sure, that's that. But I mean, literally, because we had to, mind you, we had to set all this up because this is not what we had last time. And I was like, hey, look, I got you this file, and you can just put it in your streaming software, and it just works. Well, it didn't. And here I am furiously typing, trying to figure out, how do you get this to work? Oh, you don't. Oh, well, I know what I can do. I can do this and do this. Meanwhile, he's like, okay, I need to crop this. But it's over there. Hey, I need the so-and-so picture. I'm like, I don't even know where it is. Hold on. Let me find the folder. Here it is. By the way, it's huge. He puts it in his streaming software. Oh my God. I said, I told you it was huge. Now we have to resize it. Hey, I'm gonna give you my specs so you can transform it the way mine looks. Sure. Hey, it doesn't look the same. Let me see. Oh, okay. Move it over. Do this. Do this. This is all 30 minutes before stream. 30 minutes.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I have to acknowledge chat for a second because Peggy is telling the truth and I don't like it. Oh, I feel attacked. Please ban Peggy. She said, hi, Sid. I heard a great couple of guys talking recently about the importance of not talking yourself down and acknowledging the good that they've done. You might want to listen to They have a podcast, I hear. I'll send you the link. Thank you, Peggy. Thank you for bringing that to my attention.
I need to find these guys because I don't see them. I need the link too.
No idea.
Maybe it's Mallet. Maybe Mallet's one of them.
I'm sorry. What is that? Whoa. We cannot gloss over that. What did you just share on screen?
It's Mallet.
I don't know what Mallet is.
Remember I had pink eye?
Vaguely, yes.
And I did the patch?
Mm-hmm. Oh my God. I do not remember the parrot.
You can't have a pirate stream without a parrot.
Oh. Okay. This is news to me.
So
was it on your shoulder?
No, he wouldn't stay, but he was he helped me do my giveaway yesterday, so I had him up here. If I do it right, he will stay. See? He stays on the mic.
Oh, that is adorable, sir. That needs to be part of your life now.
And so this is Mallet. This is Mallet.
So right? Your hammer, that's Mallet because it's okay.
Because Little Hammer doesn't like Mallet. He liked to be Little Hammer, so he had it's specific. So That's that. So here is Mallet. So Mallet sits right here because there's a printer right here. Mallet sits right here, and when he needs to make an appearance, this is what he does.
That's not true, Mandels. I do not die inside. And besides, there's a big difference between that stuffed animal and a head to toe Kermit onesie.
Yeah, I'm definitely not doing that
I love
until
my
I
Kermit
do.
onesie.
So
I feel
there's
safe
that.
in it. I love it.
So well, Mallet, okay, you need to go. We're having a serious conversation. All right. Thank you. Wait, you were made in China. That probably shouldn't be on your face.
I'm gonna say, take that sticker off. What are
All right,
you
we'll
doing?
deal with that later.
I
I don't
thank
want
you, Doc.
I don't want to abuse Mallet in front of people because that might hurt like a ripped band-aid. But nonetheless, I think we have I think
We
we've
did it.
explored this topic thoroughly. I don't know that we can do it again.
Everybody in chat's making me self-doubt now. I feel horrible. I hate this place.
Trust me, it's
Oh.
I've got the same thing going on too.
It's okay.
But you know, I don't think we can do any more without
Nah,
being
I
a
think
dead
we
horse.
got it, man. I think we did it. I think we great
Wait, man,
job.
don't quit, man. Let's
No, you
come
guys
back.
can't quit. I'm quitting. But
I mean, if chat,
yeah.
when we can give chat some time to do whatever, you know, if they want to offer feedback, it's always appreciated. It's never
Yeah.
it's never rejected, because I mean, even if it's something we're not doing right, it's going to make me feel horrible as a person, and I'm going to quit.
I'm gonna quit.
I'm going to quit doing everything.
Everything's stupid. I hate it.
I hate everything here. But you know, this is, you know, we because listen, bottom line, we're two guys having tough conversations, right?
That's what this is born from.
You get get rid of all the fancy words that change colors and nice striped lines and pretty boxes and nice logos down there. At the end of the day, if I start this is going to sound weird. If I start clicking eyeballs over in Streamlabs, let me finish my statement before you get here.
Poking people's eyes out.
If I start clicking eyeballs on Streamlabs, all you'll see is this guy and that guy. That'd be what it is. Just us two having conversations. So sure, if you have anything, let us know. And then if you think of something afterwards, shoot us a message somewhere. You know how to get in contact with us. You know,
I was gonna say, if there's feedback you guys have, we'd love it in chat, sure. But if you'd rather reach out, we had some feedback after the last time we did this, and it was really amazing feedback. So, yeah, we appreciate any feedback. We want this to continue growing. But Hammer, my friend, I think we did it. I'm gonna say goodbye to my side.
Wait, you gotta do a thing.
Oh, okay.
Sunday. We're doing this weekly.
Oh, that's what I was gonna do. I was gonna wrap up. But yeah, we're gonna do this weekly. So we are no longer bi-weekly. We are doing this every week from now until, I say, the next 4 to 6 weeks. See how it goes. See how a weekly program kind of, works. But yeah, every Sunday, 8 p.m. Eastern. That's what we're doing. So
that's what we're doing.
Be there, be square, and so on. People still say that? No, they don't. Probably no. They didn't even say that when I was a kid.
I just say be there or don't, but be there.
Yeah. Be a square if you want.
That's fair.
Yes.
No, don't be a square. But we did it. We did it, dude.
We did it.
So do me a favor. Do me a huge favor.
Do me a favor.
Go away and talk to your chat.
You go talk to your chat. You don't tell me what to do.
I hate it here.
And on that note, goodbye, my friend. I will talk to you later.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right.
See you, buddy.
I need to press
buttons. Click buttons. Bye.